Hello and welcome to Newsclick's Daily Roundup. I'm Ronak.
And I'm Sumedha. Sorry for the delay because of technical difficulties. We'll now start with the top stories of the day.
Workers gear up for long march in Bengal. Bihar's Manrega workers stare at deeper rural stagnation. TSRTC workers end strike as Chief Minister asks them to rejoin. Zimbabwe's senior doctors go on strike. Right wing wins elections in Uruguay. First up, let's move to West Bengal, where the workers are gearing up for a long march, which is set to begin on November 30th from Bardhaman district and will culminate at a public meeting in Kolkata on December 11. The 283-kilometer march is against the Modi government's ongoing spree of selling and privatizing the public sector enterprises. With the slogan, Save Public Sector, the march has been called by the Centre of Indian Trade Union. The workers will join the march to register their protest against the BJP's proposal to implement NRC across the country as well. Anadi Sahu, West Bengal Secretary of the Central Trade Union, explained the objective behind the workers taking to the streets. Speaking to Newsclick, he said the BJP government at the centre is trying to sell all public sector undertakings. 56 PSUs in the West Bengal state itself has been closed down and sold already. In a similar fashion, the Mamata Banerjee-led state government has also closed down several PSUs and merged some with others. If this keeps going on, lakhs of people will lose their jobs in the near future. According to him, neither the central nor the West Bengal state government has paid any heed to one burning question. What will happen to these workers who are and will lose their jobs because of privatization? He further added that the 12-day long march is being organized against the anti-people, anti-worker economic policies of the central government. The workers are also demanding that the government ensure the farmers receive a minimum selling price for their producers. More marches will start from their industrial zones across the state, and people will come out on the streets to make sure that the government cannot continue to ignore demands of the workers anymore. Moving forward, let's take a look at a Labour bill introduced in Parliament yesterday. After introducing a starvation level wages and removing protections available to the workers in the past, Industrial Relations Code bill was tabled in the Lok Sabha by the Labour and Employment Minister Santosh Kumar Gangwar. The Industrial Relations Code, or the IA Code, is the third one out of the 4 labour codes which seek to subsume 44 existing central labour laws. The leaders of the central trade unions have called the clauses of the new code to be draconian in nature. The bill has much to do with the composition and functioning of the trade unions in the post-codification India, in which, according to the union leaders, the Modi government has given too much flexibility to employers to toy with. At first, the bill proposes to further make it difficult for trade union to get registered in an industrial establishment. It provides a minimum number of workers, at least 10% of the total strength or 100 workers in an establishment to be the members of the union, which seeks registration. The existing Trade Unions Act of 1926, which this particular code subsumes, requires only 7 members of the union for the same process. Further, the clauses surrounding industrial actions and conciliations presents an overriding concerns to the workers' body. According to the central trade unions, the Modi government is aiming for an apparent ban on the labour strike, an industrial action which holds great significance to the workers while pressing for their rights and demands. If these were not enough, the proposed IA code also cements contractualization of labor by introducing fixed-term employment and provides executive powers to the state governments to ease the retrenchment norms. The labour codes, as being claimed by the BJP government on many occasions, are being brought to favour the industry. Taming the trade unions and misleading the workers seems to be the way Prime Minister Narendra Modi has chosen to ensure quote-unquote ease of doing business in India. Next up, we have news from Telangana, where after 55 days of relentless strike, 49,000 workers of the TSRTC resumed their work on Friday. The decision came following an announcement by Telangana Chief Minister KCR infusing 100 crores in the State Transportation Corporation. The state government also announced to give financial assistance and a job per family for those workers who lost their lives during the strike period. However, blaming the union leaders who have led the struggle, the CM continued to call the strike illegal. In a press conference on Thursday evening, he said, workers have fallen into the traps of unions and opposition parties and risked their livelihoods. They need to realize the facts and not to resort to such acts in the future. After convening a cabinet meeting on the matter, the Telangana state government stated that the bus ticket fares will be increased to generate an estimated income of up to 760 crore per year. Meanwhile, the state government also announced to infuse another 571 crore for repairing roads. The Joint Action Committee of the Workers' Union that led the strike has welcomed the Chief Minister's decision. According to them, the TSRTC strike will remain historic one in the country's history. Female conductors and workers have taken many responsibilities in the strike. On Chief Minister's criticism about the unions, the convener of the committee said that nobody should undermine the power of unions, which are a core part of the system. It is to be noted that the state government has ridiculed the strike since the beginning, despite the workers having a legitimate set of demands, which was also acknowledged by the High Court. For the last 55 days, the workers were not even called for negotiations by the Telangana state machinery. Next up, after a gap of several months, Manrega workers in Ward number 7 of Muzaffarpur's Ratnauli Panchayat are back on 100-day work. However, many of them are still awaiting their past wages, with only hopes and assurances being conferred to them. According to Sanjay Sahni, convener of Narega Watch, which is a non-political organization, the reason for the gap in work is non-payment of wages, which is to be paid by the district administration and government. Sahni told Newsclick that there are 3 categories of workers who are awaiting their wage in terms of time interval. For a few of them, wages of 3 to 6 months are pending, but many of them are still desperate about getting their annually awaited wages. The mandate of Manrega is to provide at least 100 days of guaranteed wage employment in a financial year to every rural household whose adult members volunteer to do unskilled manual work. Its core objectives include creating productive assets and, most importantly, strengthening the livelihood resource base of the economically disadvantaged sections. But the Rural Job Guarantee Scheme story on ground remains opposite to its laid-down principles. Moving ahead, the already burdened auto sector in Jammu and Kashmir is facing a new crisis after heavier taxes have been imposed for registering vehicles. The new law requires all the vehicles using any public road in Jammu and Kashmir to bear extra 9% of the cost of the vehicle. This will be a one-time tax during the registration of a new vehicle. Newsclick spoke to people in the Jammu region to understand the severity of the issue. Let's take a look.
हमारी भी यही प्रॉब्लम है मैम कि हमारी यहाँ गाड़ी रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं हो रही।
मेरे हिसाब से पूरे ऑल इंडिया में कहीं भी 9% टैक्स जो वन टाइम कहीं भी नहीं लिया जाता।
10-10 दिन 15-15 दिन में भी हमारा माल यहाँ पहुँचता नहीं है।
इस ऑर्डर में पहला नंबर 9% टैक्स लगा रहे हैं और वन टाइम कमर्शियल व्हीकल में वन टाइम टोकन। मेरे हिसाब से पूरे ऑल इंडिया में कहीं भी 9% टैक्स जो वन टाइम कहीं भी नहीं लिया जाता। जो हम पहले देते हाफ क्वार्टरली देते थे, हाफ ईयरली देते, ईयरली देते थे, वो 4400 रुपया 44,000 लगता था हमारा, 100 लगता था। तो आज वो बन रहे हैं 15 साल का वन टाइम टोकन और 9%, जो कि एक जाति है।
हमारी भी यही प्रॉब्लम है मैम कि हमारी यहाँ गाड़ी रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं हो रही। सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम यही है। हम बैंक लोन लेके अपना काम कर रहे हैं, बैंक का भी लोन का जो किस्ती है वो भी नहीं दे पा रहे, क्योंकि इस टाइम हमें बैंक भी परेशान कर रहा है।
सबसे ज़्यादा हम काम करते हैं अखरोट के साथ। पहले ये क्या हुआ, जब 370 टूट गया तो उन्होंने वहाँ से सब बिहारियों को भगाया, मज़दूरों को भगाया, गुजर लोग हैं वहाँ सबों को भगाया। जब ये भाग गए तो हमको लेबर भी नहीं मिली है अखरोट फंडाने की। जब अब खुद मेहनत करनी है, खुद हमने मेहनत की है, हमने फंडाई की है, उसके बाद हमें सुखाने किसी मैदान में जाते हैं, हालात ख़राब हो गए, हम मैदानों में भी नहीं जा सकते हैं। हो गया पूरा नुकसान हमारा ड्राई फ्रूट का। अब थे हमारे पास सेब का मार्केट था, वो इन्होंने मार्केट कहाँ तक पहुँचाया, एक सेब की पेटी आज 200, 250, 300 में जाती है। जो सेब की पेटी तैयार, जो हम तैयार हो वहाँ कितने में हो रही है, 700 में तैयार हो रही है वहाँ पे। अब यहाँ मंडी में आते हैं वो 300 में जाती है। जम्मू मंडी के गात में करता हूँ, आगे भी जाओ, लुधियाना, दिल्ली, हर जगह यही प्रॉब्लम है। ये क्या हुआ, ये 370 की वजह से हमें ये इतना नुकसान देना पड़ा।
Moving on to the international section, Zimbabwe's senior doctors have joined their junior colleagues on a strike. This is after 2 months of emergency service without any pay. The senior doctors are being represented by Senior Hospital Doctors Association, or the SHDA. The junior doctors have been on the strike since September 3rd. Like their juniors, the senior doctors also say that they are unable to go to work since their salaries have been devalued massively since the last year. Nurses and other allied health professionals are also incapacitated and have been reporting to work only twice or thrice a week under pressure from the Health Ministry directive. The doctors are also seeking the provision of supplies and the withdrawal of action against their juniors. Nearly 450 junior doctors have been fired since the beginning of this strike. Many of these doctors have been tried in absenteeism as well. The root of the issue lies in the payment of salaries through the quasi-currency which is called the RTGS. When it was introduced, this currency was pegged to be at the US dollar of 1:1 ratio. However, while there has been a continuous slide in the value of this currency vis-a-vis the dollar, in accordance with which the prices have been rising, the salaries in RTGs have not remained constant, and this is the core of the issue. Moving on, Luis Lacalle Pau of the right-wing National Party has emerged as the winner in the second round of the elections in Uruguay, and which were held in the country on November 24th. Daniel Martinez of the ruling left-wing government of Frente Amplio, which is the Broad Front, has already recognized his defeat and has also greeted the newly elected president. Previously, with 99.4% of the votes counted, Lacalle had a lead over Martinez with a slim margin of about 1.26%. Lacalle has also secured 48.74% of the votes, while Martinez obtained only 47.48% of the votes. The difference of the votes between the two candidates was around 30,000, but it was less than the number of the observed votes, which was more than 34,500. Given the fact that the Electoral Court, which has deemed the election results too close to call and announced that a clear winner could not be declared until all votes were counted. The Frente Amplio was in power for the last 14 years. The progressive government has spent considerably on a number of social programs in education, healthcare and housing sectors. Since 2004, when it first took over the presidency, poverty decreased from 39.9% to 8.1% in 2018, and the rate of extreme poverty decreased from 4.7% to 0.1%. The basic salary increased by 55% during the governance of Frente Amplio. The party took a lot of progressive stances on various social issues as well. It has also consistently stood with the socialist and the progressive governments of the region, such as in Cuba and also in Venezuela. It is unclear what positions the new right-wing president will take on such issues. We'll keep a tab on that. Moving on, massive celebrations have broken out in Sudan after a law dismantling the regime of the ousted president Omar al-Bashir was passed by the transitional government late last night. Another law was passed to scrap the Public Order Act, which was imposed on women, which was a code of conduct based on the Sharia law. The act, passed under Bashir's rule, had imposed a dress code for women and had regulated their social interaction and their freedom of movement as well. These laws were passed after the first joint legislative session of the Cabinet and the Sovereignty Council, which went on for about 14 hours. Omar al-Bashir had seized power through a coup in 1989 and had ruled over Sudan until he was ousted in April this year, and after months of mass demonstrations which had started from last December. His National Congress Party is now legally prohibited from participating in political activities for a period of 10 years. The legislative decree also directs the confiscation of all properties and assets of the party and the removal of members of NCP from all public institutions, government agencies and state-owned enterprises as well. This represents a major victory for the masses of the demonstrators who, in their effort to put an end to Bashir's rule, had for months endured mass arrests, torture and shootings which have injured hundreds fatally. Under the NCP's rule, all independent unions in the country were also banned. Sharia law was introduced and often used selectively to target political opponents. Imprisonment without trial and torture of dissidents was also ubiquitous. Bashir is also found guilty by the ICC of genocide, war crimes and crimes against humanity for overseeing a campaign of mass murder and rapes in the war-torn Darfur region. That's all that we have today for this episode of the Daily Roundup. To follow these stories, our updates, our videos and many more, please log on to our website www.newsclick.in, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Thank you for watching.